An interesting development at my former place of employment, the White House press briefing room. Let's put this up there on the screen. A big brouhaha erupted online after Tara Palmieri, she is a reporter over at Politico, tweeted out a story, which is a totally legit story, about White House reporters being rankled that the Biden team wanted their questions in advance for the White House press briefing room. She tweeted, let's keep this tweet up there so I can keep reading, where she says, to everyone asking why this matters, if Jen Psaki doesn't like your question, she doesn't call on you. And so immediately the Biden online goons like
Biden
John
bros.
Favreau, Biden bros to the extent that there are some, the blue check mafia just ruthlessly went after her because they pointed out, and this is true, that Jen Psaki currently has called on every single reporter in the room. But what is Tara saying? Tara is saying, well, if the White House knows what you're going to ask in the future, as in, the next 4 years while they're in the administration, they're not going to call on you if there's a question that they don't want to answer. And at the end of the day, they have the total power to decide. And this really rankles me because a lot of these people are engaging in the worst faith. It's like, obviously, when you're, and this here's the thing. I was in the White House press corps. Yeah, the White House calls you. They'll be like, what are you going to ask? And you're like, come on, like, what are we doing here? That's not going to, like, I'm not telling you. And they're like, yeah, but, we just wanted to check and be prepared. I'm just like, shut up. And this is, it's a game. It's a game that you play. But it's true, which is that if people do start to play ball, in the Biden team, which as well as I do, that they definitely have been some ball playing here, just to give them context so they have answers, then Jen Psaki, if she has a full view of what people are going to ask and whatnot, why should she call on you in the future? Let's say it's a political scandal day at the White House. She knows two people are going to ask the question in a way that she wants it to ask. That's what these people do. They're comms professionals. I don't even necessarily begrudge them.
Yeah.
But they're getting so pissed at Tara Palmieri, this reporter, for pointing out a very obvious truth, which is that when the White House doesn't want to answer something, they're not going to call on the people who are going to ask it. I was there. I remember Sarah Sanders on days where there was really annoying Mueller news. Guess who didn't get called on? Jim Acosta. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that is what happened.
Right.
It happens to everybody.
Right.
And so they're just intentionally gaslighting, playing as if Jen Psaki is like the greatest press secretary in the world. And it's like, yeah, actually, this is bad. Like, no, White House reporters should not tell their questions in advance to the White House press secretary.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think that's interesting, and there's a real tension here, because the Biden people and like the Democratic establishment world have gone all in on this, like, we love the media and the free press, it's bedrock of society, and they've been outraged when Trump has overstepped those norms and has done things to try to quash that free expression, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is not something that's extraordinarily unusual in terms of administrations or politicians calling. I mean, even when you interview like a cabinet secretary, they'll call you and they'll try to get 100%. A sense. They'll try to limit, hey, can we just stay in the bounds of these topics and that topic?
It'd be great if you just stuck to what we agreed on. It's like, get out of here.
Well, and the problem is that a lot of people, they take that in. I mean, lots of people play ball with this. They take it in
because
and they
want
realize
more. They need more.
That's it. They realize that if they don't stay in the narrow confines of those questions, they're not going to get another interview with that cabinet secretary or another one. And it's the same thing in this kind of a dynamic situation where you're going to have a relationship with these people for 4 years, potentially 8 years, and you don't want to get on their bad side right off the jump.
Yes.
So you have a lot of pressure put on you to at least give them a little bit of let me just give them a little bit of an insight so they still like me, so they're going to call on me. And it's not just that they then have the option to not call on you. It's also that they have the opportunity to pre-prepare and pre-package their answers so that they're not caught off guard. And we both know that those caught off guard moments,
that's the real stuff,
are the only times you get anything that's actually worthwhile, that's not just like you could have just sent out a press release and gotten the same information. So do I think this is outrageous behavior in the context of no, I think it's normal. I think it's completely normal. I think it's very much in the realm of what past presidents have done, whether you like that or not. It's just weird the way that now that it's the Biden administration and they're engaging in these normal, somewhat unethical, or at least a little bit sketchy comms practices, you've got people who were previously outraged at every one of those practices running such aggressive cover for them.
That's exactly what it is. Jon Favreau and all these other people are just as slimy as every other comms professional that's ever worked. And that's the game. Just be honest about it. It's okay. I'm not going to begrudge you, but they can't have their cake and eat it too, which is that you can't be a slimy comms guy and be like, I love the free press and we're the fairest people on earth. No, they're complete control freaks. And you see this at every step of the way. Happened yesterday, actually. One of the good parts, whenever we were talking, when Jen Psaki was in her briefing and she was asked about the Space Force and she made a joke about it. It's like, oh yeah, it turns out you shouldn't insult a branch of the U.S. military from the White House podium, an actual branch of the U.S. military, and she had to apologize. I think that was a good thing. Actually, it's actually quite revealing around when these things happen. So that's the reason why they shouldn't be prepared, just so she can read some anodyne statement and be like, the United States loves its Space Force. Next question.
I think the other thing to watch for here is we covered this story with all these people who had been aggressive, anti-Trump resistance journalists and made their name this way, and basically admitted, number one, that some of them admitted they would cover Biden differently. Just flat out, it'll be a different dynamic. And they had justifications, he doesn't lie as much, and so it's just going to be a different dynamic. Okay, maybe. Another one admitted that, it would be more uncomfortable to cover Biden critically. And this is exactly why. Because you already see, if you were even a little bit critical, then
you're going to get raked.
People will pile right on top. I mean, Tara Palmieri, she's not like a right winger.
No.
She's a normal mainline reporter at Politico.
Yeah.
So if you step on a line and you say something that's not approved, you are going to get trash. And a lot of reporters who are used to the accolades of Twitter and getting a lot of love are going to find that to be extraordinarily uncomfortable. We'll see if it prevents them from doing their jobs.
100%.
All right, more Rising for you after this.